The wind is howling off the lake. It has been blowing at 25 miles per hour all day. The sun has just dipped below the horizon. Silhouetted by the dusky light, my family and friends make their way out onto the beach. The experience is still raw, but somehow the location makes it just a little easier to handle. We're huddled together with our backs against the wind, when a lone figure breaks away and walks slowly away from the group. He holds a little box in his hands. We watch as he hurls its contents into the air, and suddenly she is free, and the wind takes her. The beach was bought shortly before I was born, a joint effort between my grandparents on my mom's side along with her sisters and brother. A kind of familial commune, an escape or refuge away from the real world, or more likely a return to the real world. For over 30 years we have gathered with our family and camped on this property without electricity or running water, and we have become stronger for it. It's because of this piece of property that I experienced an upbringing that fewer and fewer people get to experience in our present-day American society. My cousins are more like brothers and sisters to me than distant relatives. We grew up together and continue to share our lives with each other at least once a year for a couple of weeks every summer. The same can be said about my aunts and uncles. They're like second parents to me. Under their tutelage, I learned to respect the outdoors and fend for myself as a small child running through the pristine woods. My grandmother taught me all the names of the flowers in the forest, and my grandpa taught us young boys how to pump water at the well and enjoy sunsets across Lake Superior as the sky turned to stars. My aunts taught me the importance of a good swim in the lake and how to surf my first waves in a sea kayak. And also, how to make the best damn lentil stew this little planet has ever known. My uncles and father taught me how to go get lost in reckless adventure. How to take an old beat-up Isuzu Trooper down a muddy backwoods Yooper road at irresponsible speeds, blaring dire straits with 12 people packed into a car made for 5. We'd get out to hike to the shoreline and come back only to find the Trooper sunk up to the wheel wells in mud. And then would come the whirring of tires and flinging of mud as grown men did the delicate dance of taking a tire-fed mud bath as they jammed old fallen logs under the tires to try to get the car out for the wives and kids. Basically, how to have a shit-kicking good time in the outdoors. And then there was my mom. Always there, always present. When my dad trucked back to Minneapolis for work on the weekdays, she would stay with us kids. And when the 2 weeks were up, we would beg her to stay another. And 9 times out of 10, she did. She was there for all the hikes in the Porcupine Mountains, all the meals, all the swims, all the night games of kids at play, all the bedtime stories, all the caught red-handed teenage shenanigans, and mostly, she was just there. At peace with her family in the great North Woods. She taught me how to be a good person. I have a child of my own now, and I now bring my family to this same beach I grew up on.
Hi, Lena. Are you helping Daddy make coffee?
I bring my friends up here, and they are amazed by the pristine beauty and that such a place exists in the Midwest. I have picked up new sports in my life, and now instead of just surfing on the epic waves on a kayak, I ride the wind like I never even dreamed possible. This place is a part of me. It's the place I dream about the most. It's where my heart is, so I suppose that makes it home. This brings us back to the beginning. On the night of this very special sunset, my wife Kelly and my daughter Helena and I arrived for the beginning of our annual August week here. Being obsessed with the wind, I scored an epic kiteboard session as soon as I arrived. We ate dinner with the whole family, and afterwards, my father pulled me aside. Dan, you guys were the last to show up and we were waiting for you. We are going to do it tonight. He didn't have to say any more than that. I knew what he was talking about. In November of the prior year, my mother had passed away at the age of 49 from inflammatory breast cancer after a grueling 6-month battle. Tonight we would spread her ashes. 15 minutes before she had passed, I'd whispered in her ear, "I will feel you every time the wind whistles through the pine trees." I hadn't really known what I had meant at the time. I was simply delirious with emotion. But as my dad released her ashes into the air, I knew it had been the right thing to say. Because there she was, a fleeting glimpse, then dispersed through the pines. Home. Seems like such a long time ago. A dream that's begun to fade. Or a softly sung lullaby